Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk about everyone's favorite, Kakashi Sensei. Kakashi Hatake is one of the most popular Naruto characters. He's in my top 5, and unlike my other favorite characters like Itachi, Sasuke, and Obito, Kakashi isn't as polarizing, and he didn't commit mass murder like the rest. Add on top of that, Kakashi's design, laid-back attitude, and overall swag makes him one of the most beloved characters of the franchise. That's not to mean that Kakashi is perfect. A lot of people believe that Kakashi had failed his students, and Kakashi even blames himself for a lot of the problems that had arise from his negligence, particularly Sasuke's descent into darkness. Kakashi was made into a team leader by the third Hokage, who wanted Kakashi to get away from the darkness of the Anbu, so he wasn't really equipped to take care of his own 3-man squad. He barely trained Naruto in part 1, and he never trained Sakura, except for basic ninja training and chakra control. And even though he did try to talk to Sasuke and set him straight, he failed to truly understand his student. So in today's video, I'm going to be analyzing Kakashi as the sensei of Team 7 and determine whether he failed his students or not. First, let me start off by saying that Kakashi was handed the most ideal team, with the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, son of the 4th Hokage, and the last surviving Uchiha. Of course, this was no coincidence, and Kakashi's connection to the 4th, as well as his Sharingan, played a role in his selection. But here it was, add Sakura and you got Team 7. Now Kakashi had a pretty hands-off approach when it came to mentoring, an example being how he was always fashionably late to the team meetings. And it's not to say that Kakashi was completely uninvolved in his student's life. After his experiences in the Third War, Kakashi believed that teamwork was the most important thing, and he took a vow to never pass a team that didn't stand by that belief. Kakashi also did his best to imbue that into Team 7. Naruto was the most receptive to that message, and despite the fact that Kakashi was more focused on training Sasuke in part 1, in Shippuden, Kakashi takes Naruto under his wing. He developed a specialized training method that only works for Naruto, which allowed Naruto to master jutsu that would typically require years to master in just a matter of days. Once a clone is released, the original gains the clone's experience, and hence, he was able to cut Naruto's training length to a fraction of what it would have been. And from there on, Kakashi would place all his beliefs into Naruto, just like Tsunade. He had so much faith in him that he even traveled alongside him to try to convince the Raikage to pardon Sasuke. And by the war, Kakashi was ready to put his life on the line to protect Naruto. So despite Kakashi choosing to train Sasuke over Naruto during the Chunin exams, which I think was more so attributed to the similarity between his and Sasuke's skill set, I think Kakashi was a fine sensei to Naruto. However, someone I believe Kakashi sensei failed more was Sasuke. Let me start off by saying that Sasuke was kinda similar to the younger Kakashi, and that's probably the reason why Kakashi took Sasuke under his wing and personally trained him over Naruto and Sakura. Just beyond the Sharingan and the lightning affinity, they both shared a similar mindset. The younger Kakashi despised his father for taking his life and leaving him alone, and that's why Kakashi strove to become the polar opposite of Sakumo by dedicating himself to the laws of the village, since Sakumo faced ostracization for not following through with the objectives of the mission. Similarly, Sasuke despised his brother for massacring the Uchiha clan and tormenting Sasuke with his egomaniac facade, and he would also distance himself from what he perceived as Itachi's image. That's why he refused to kill Naruto at the Valley of the End, and it's also why he defeated all those goons that Orochimaru sent without killing a single one. I suppose Kakashi saw himself in Sasuke, and it's not like what he was saying to Sasuke was incorrect, but despite the fact that their stories were similar, they weren't the same. Kakashi's loved ones weren't all killed in one event coordinated by one perpetrator that was actively tormenting him. The truth is that it wasn't really Kakashi's place to tell Sasuke that he shouldn't pursue revenge. Or at least, he must have really underestimated what Sasuke was going through. Like, Kakashi's words could have flown by if Itachi didn't just visit the village and refresh Sasuke's hatred and revenge quest against him. By this point, taking down Itachi had become a part of his identity. It was the duty of the sole survivor. This wasn't gonna be solved by a simple let it go. Sasuke needed the power to defeat his brother. He wasn't gonna get that power in the Leaf Village, and Kakashi basically told him to forget about it all. Kakashi's cold logic was never gonna get through to an emotional, traumatized 13-year-old. By the time the Sound 4 arrived, it was pretty easy for them to sell Sasuke to the idea of ditching the village. If Kakashi tried to acknowledge Sasuke's quest more, then maybe Sasuke would have been more hesitant to desert. You could say that it was maybe this failure that inspired Kakashi to help Team 10 avenge their sensei. As he even says, they're gonna go get revenge regardless, so I might as well tag along. But this could be seen as kind of hypocrisy too. Now, I'm not blaming Kakashi for Sasuke's departure, that was inevitable, but I'm just saying that if he believed that little speech was enough to keep Sasuke tame, then he really underestimated the situation. And then by the time he's involved again, he's too late. Sasuke's already gone, and Naruto's out cold. Ironic because it's kind of parallel to how his sensei, the 4th Hokage, was always late when it mattered most. Kakashi wasn't perfect, and for a little while there, Kakashi's students would train under each Sannin. And then if we skip to the events of the 5 Kage Summit, when Sasuke becomes unhinged in his quest for vengeance, and Naruto seeks answers about what happened to his friend, and Toby pulls up on the gang and begins to reveal the truth about Itachi, the one thing I kinda noticed was Kakashi seemed to be very dismissive of the information being fed to them by Obito about the Uchiha massacre being orchestrated by the Leaf's higher-ups. I get that Toby isn't the most reliable source, but there's overwhelming evidence that supports what he's saying. For example, Kakashi and the gang were briefed on the events of the Kage Summit by Gaara. If Kakashi knew that Danzo tried to use a Sharingan, then that supports this theory. Kakashi's a smart guy, and given that he actually worked with Itachi during the anime Kakashi Anbu arc and was surprised that Itachi would pull off the massacre at all, and just based on how Sasuke was acting, it's likely that Kakashi low-key believed what Toby told him, and it seemed like he just wanted to hide this information on the Leaf's behalf, since the village was just recently destroyed by the Akatsuki and the Hokage was out of commission. It would have been a political nightmare for something like that to surface at such an unstable time. But that also meant that Sasuke was gonna be a problem. Kakashi admitted that it was his cowardice that drove them all apart. He was gonna have to do the same thing that the 3rd Hokage did to protect the Leaf. With Sasuke at the mercy of his own wrath, and Kakashi refusing to acknowledge the predicament between the village and Sasuke's clan, this conflict was bound to result in a fight to the death. But then of course, Naruto comes in and saves the day as usual. Kakashi even calls out the 2 elders for Danzo's death, which is a sign that he'd figured out his role in the Uchiha massacre.
Danzo was ambitious, but all he did was for the sake of this village. Is that meant to be an excuse?
The next student I wanted to look at is Sakura. Kakashi Sensei failed her big time. He helped Sasuke with the Chidori, and he helped Naruto with the Rasen Shuriken training, but the only thing he taught Sakura was how to focus enough chakra at the bottom of her feet to walk up trees. That's it. That's part of the reason why Sakura was so incompetent in part 1, and it's a shame that Kakashi didn't try to help her with any of her jutsu or something like that. For example, Sakura was stated to be a genjutsu type, but they never bothered to build upon that. Like, Kakashi could have maybe gotten Kurenai to teach Sakura some genjutsu spells in exchange for him helping Kiba with dog training or something like that. After the time skip, we see Sakura become much more capable after training with the 5th Hokage, which implies that Kakashi didn't really train her at all prior. And on top of that, it felt like Kakashi didn't even take Sakura too seriously. He told her something irresponsible, that there was nothing to worry about, to try to put her mind at ease, even though Sakura had a very good reason to be worried. He treated her like a kid, and he wasn't honest with her. It was this soft treatment that caused Sakura to lag behind. In Shippuden it's very different though. Kakashi and Sakura are more like peers, and he obviously takes her a lot more seriously now. So, if I were to go back to the title of this video, did Kakashi fail his students? Well, let's see. If you're talking about Naruto, then I don't think he failed him. Like, maybe he could have been more present in his childhood, but as a sensei, Kakashi always stood by and supported Naruto, especially in Shippuden. If you're talking about Sasuke, then maybe Kakashi kinda did, or at least he failed to understand him or get through to him. But Sasuke's descent to darkness was inevitable. There's only so much that Kakashi could do. Though refusing to acknowledge the calamity imposed on Sasuke's family by the village is where I think Kakashi could have done better. Now, if you're talking about Sakura, she's the most student that Kakashi has failed as a sensei, and he didn't really teach her anything. Sakura wouldn't even develop any noteworthy shinobi skills until she started training under Tsunade. Kakashi Hatake, the copy ninja, is one of the most excellent shinobi of his era. But remember that nobody's perfect. Being the mentor of 3 genin may have not been his forte, but he at least did his best to ensure that his students were safe and that they cherished teamwork and friendship. And I think that's enough to keep him as a fan favorite. If you've liked today's video, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you guys soon.